much money is placed into stocks with absurd and astonishingly high price to earnings ratios. But all those trillions of dollars of malinvestments are simply wasted. Dollars are, and worse, they're wasted steal opportunities from the things that needed that money more. The Austrian School of Economics has a very crisp and historically accurate definition of how a credit bubble ends. Ludwig von Mises. There is no means of avoiding the final collapse of the boom brought about by credit expansion. The alternative is only whether the crisis should come about sooner as a result of a voluntary abandonment of further credit expansion, or later, as a final and total catastrophe of the credit system. This is the view I have to ascribe to, and explains my strong preference for placing my wealth out of the path of potential financial accidents. As a nation, we've undertaken desperate measures to avoid abandoning the continuation of credit expansion. But the issue is that these are final catastrophe of the currency, circles of the outcome. This was extended hundreds of years. Dealing with a set of nested lessons always is a challenge. This was the history. The stewardship of vision displayed by the veterans who did watch previously and bringing all this about as if the threat was so, what can we expect from the future? Simply put, everything is said and through the consequences of collection of credit, especially through the stock, liquid bonds, or securities. Yet there are fairly sophisticated financial institutions which financialize companies to exist together in the future without credit. So we would expect a number of those companies to vastly cut back to a more appropriate size by some point in the future. I see very few conventional tech companies, particularly individual customers, even if you your financial advisors see very well questions about this case with the others. Remember, this time is very much from nothing. The reasonability of the system of protecting all customers and including customers. With all that, what is the increase stood at over $57 trillion. That's 57 stacks of $1,000 bills, each of which is 67.9 miles high. Now, if we adjust these debt levels for both population and inflation over time, so apples to apples, we find that in 1952, there was the equivalent of $76,000 of total debt per person, and that today, the number is $183,000. At $183,000 per head, this means that today, the average family of Ford America is associated with roughly $735,000 of debt. This is now more than twice as high as back when income was sufficient to sustain an average family. This is a useful way to look at our debt loads because it doesn't really matter if the debt is owed by a government agency or a corporation or an individual, because these are really the debts of our country, and all debts are paid through the actions of people. So examining the debts on a per capita or household basis gives us a sense of the situation. Can debts forever grow faster than the incomes that service them? Can the average household earning a bit more than $50,000 realistically pay back nearly three-quarters of a million debt? The answers to both of these questions is no, and almost certainly not, respectively. Now, am I saying that all debt is bad? Nope, not at all. Time for another definition. Debt that can be best described as investment debt provides the opportunity to pay itself back. An example might be a college loan offering the opportunity to earn a higher wage in the future. Another would be a loan to expand the seating of a successful restaurant. In the parlance of bankers, these are examples of self-liquidating debt, meaning the loans boost future revenues and therefore have a means of paying themselves back. But what about loans that are merely consumptive in nature, such as those taken out for a fancier car, or for vacations, or for more war material? These are called non-self-liquidating debts because they do not generate any additional future revenue. So not all debts are bad, only too much unproductive borrowing is bad. Between 2000 and 2010, total credit market debt in the U.S. fully doubled from $26 trillion to over $53 trillion, and a very large proportion of that was of the non-self-liquidating variety. This has profound implications for the future. So what is debt really? Well, debt provides us money to spend today. Perhaps we buy a nicer car and we enjoy that car today. But in the future, the loan payments represent money that we do not have then to spend on other items or to save. So we can say that debt represents future consumption money taken today. As long as it is just my decision to go into debt and the repayment is my responsibility, then everything's cool. However, once we consider that our current levels of debt will require the efforts and incomes of future generations to pay them back, we start to trend over into the more expected story. Is it really proper for one generation to consume well beyond its means and expect the following generations to forego their consumption in order to pay it all back? That is precisely our current situation, and these charts say as much. This is our legacy. We are piling up debts that we ourselves cannot pay back, and much of that borrowed money is simply being used to support consumption, not grand infrastructure investments that future taxpayers will benefit from. Is this fair? Is it moral? Now, we learned earlier in the crash course that money being viewed is a claim, not human labor. And we just learned that debt is really just a claim on future money. So we can put these two statements together and arrive at a new key concept. Debt is a claim on future human labor. When we get to the section on baby boomers and the demographic challenge our country faces, I'll be recalling this important concept. When viewed historically and compared to gross domestic product, the current levels of debt are without precedent, and the chart even suggests that we are living in the mother of all credit bubbles. Current total credit market debt stands at more than 350% of total gross domestic product. You can see on this chart the last time debts got even remotely close to current levels was back in the 1930s, and that bears a bit of explanation. The easy credit policies of the Fed gave us the roaring 20s, and then a burst credit bubble, which was followed by 11 years of economic contraction, are now referred to as the Great Depression. Note that the debt-to-GDP ratio did not start to climb until after 1970. What's the explanation for this? Were more loans being made? Note the chart climbs here at this point because while the debts remained, the economy fell away from under them, creating this spike. In the absence of the Great Depression, our country has always held less than 180% of our GDP in debt. It's only since the 1980s that relationship was violated. So we can say that our current experiment with these levels of debt is only 3 decades in the making, and therefore a historically brief phenomenon. And it is this chart, more than any other, that leads me to conclude that the next 20 years are going to be completely unlike the last 20 years. I just cannot see how we can pull off another 20 just like the one highlighted here. But what if we did? What would be required if we wanted or expected or even required